The next debate for tonight is the motion that Toronto needs more bike lanes. And arguing in favor of this motion is the Prime Minister, Michael.
Thank you. I guess the basis of the proposition is that bikes are good and need to be encouraged. I think most of us, certainly I would argue, that bikes are healthier. You get out on your bicycle, they need to be encouraged, because when you're actually working under your own steam, you are doing better things for your body. They're also better for the environment, because you're not using gas and oil and all sorts of things, or even electricity and hydro. So bikes are good. They're environmentally good. They're good for us. They also make you feel good when you more connected to the environment around you, to your city, to what's going on in the world. So anything that we can do to encourage bikes and people to cycle, I think, is better. Second thing is that biking in this city is dangerous. I was coming here this evening and I cycled. And when I'm cycling at night, I am very well aware, coming along Bloor Street, that there's traffic around, and I certainly feel a little nervous. And I tell you, I would feel much safer with bike lanes. So I think that bike lanes are to be encouraged. Secondly, Toronto is way behind a lot of cities in other countries, and maybe even elsewhere in North America, but certainly in Europe. So I think we need more bike lanes rather than, I can't, in other words, understand any argument why we would not have more bike lanes. I want to hear what the Leader of the Opposition has to say in that regard. But for my money, Toronto needs to encourage bicycles, we need to encourage cycling, we need to have bike lanes, and in fact dedicated bike lanes would be even better. You know, nice little curbs. It'll actually make it better for drivers. I see drivers who are terrified driving along that they're going to hit a cyclist. So dedicated bike lanes, dedicated car lanes. I think it'll be good for everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. And arguing against the motion, please welcome the Leader of the Opposition, Aaron.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind people that the resolution is not about whether bikes are good and healthy. I think most people would agree that they are. It's about whether we need more bike lanes. Specifically, Toronto needs more bike lanes. I am a dedicated urban bicyclist myself. I've ridden from this area downtown many times. I've got 2 university-age children who live downtown and use their bikes to get everywhere. And of course, their safety is paramount to me. So, and I live downtown. Last year, I was probably one of the few people in the city who made good use of the late great Jarvis bike lanes. I used the Royal York, Wellesley ones. I've used bike lanes all over the city. So when I say that Toronto does not need more bike lanes, please believe me. Biking is great. Bike lanes are not so great. They give you a false sense of security, so they're actually more dangerous. One of the great dangers when you're bicycling are not actually cars and taxis and buses, it's other bikers coming up behind you. You can ride through streets without the same main streets without the bike lanes and be at least as safe. Again, you have no false sense of security. They are, having worked in the city in construction, I know that they're very costly to implement and to design. Toronto, you know, again, I love biking, but Toronto has a very serious gridlock problem. I think as a net benefit to all of its citizenship, a lack of bike lanes would be better for the city, because, I mean, obviously the downside to the bike lanes that makes driving harder. There's less parking, and those of us who drive as well as biking or just drive, you know, those people have rights as well in the city. They pay taxes, so. That's you know, chiefly it. I would say, you know, biking is great. It's healthier, but I think you need other solutions. Totally dedicated bike routes, such as the rail lines, which are much safer because they're all bikes. I think that more bike lanes are a waste of tax money, and again, they're quite dangerous. They give you a false sense of security. And there's been many design proposals over the years by people even designing, elevated bike routes and so on. And those are good solutions to more biking in the city. But dedicated more bike lanes is not. And I ask you to defeat the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. And for closing remarks, we have the Prime Minister for 1 minute.
The Leader of the Opposition does have some good points, but cost surely should not be the overriding consideration. If bike lanes are a good idea, if they are going to save lives, and if they are going to encourage cycling, then I say that we should put in bike lanes ahead of some massive infrastructure that is going to cost millions and millions. I mean, the costs that we're talking about are not that huge. Secondly, and I've seen these in other cities, I think in fact when I was in Montreal, around Montreal, that I was impressed with the dedicated bike lanes that actually have some sort of separation between, they're not necessarily elevated, but they have a separation from the car and the cyclist that will overcome some of those issues that are connected here. We talked about needs more bike lanes. We didn't necessarily say the existing type that we have. Thirdly, gridlock. I'm a car driver too. But I don't think bicycles create gridlock. There are no cities anywhere around here that I think the bicycles have responsible for the gridlock.
And voting for the government's arguments, please raise your hand. And those voting for the opposition's arguments? The total is 20 to 4. The motion is carried. Thank you.